All right, y'all. It is LA Rams time. Again, this is the mock draft. This time we've got Jose Tafoya. He's going to be doing our Rams mock draft. Make sure you join in on the group. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, all that good stuff so you can be involved in all the goodies. There is a $100 giveaway to the guy with the best mock draft. So go back into the YouTube channel, find all the mocks, make sure you like the best ones, comment on them, etc., because there's $100 on the line. Real quick, I want to run through my personal thoughts. Again, I'm a Packer fan, so I need to kind of get up to speed on these things. Anything I get wrong, drop it in the comments so that I get it right next time. So starting off, quarterback Matt Stafford, 36 years old. He's got injury issues. He's playing real well. But we got to kind of potentially look into the future. Kyren Williams looking real good as a running back right now, but we don't have a lot of depth behind him. At wide receiver, obviously, we hit a home run with Puka Nacua. Cooper Kupp still going strong, but he's 31 years old. So we got to see what we got outside of that. We're doing okay. Demarcus Robinson also playing fairly well. I believe he's a new signing this year for 2024, so we'll see how he pans out with us. Along the offensive line, Alaric Jackson over at the left tackle slot. He's a restricted free agent, so if we want to, it would be easy to bring him back. Otherwise, we got Joseph Noteboom, who's 29 and in the final year of his deal. Steve Avila, left guard, not playing super well. We brought in Mike McAllister for center. We'll see how that goes, but presumably we're going to need some help there. Kevin Dotson, he is currently a free agent at 28. We're probably going to want to pay him based on how well he played, although I don't know how much I believe that as far as being real and sustainable. And then Rob Havenstein over on the right side, 32 years old. We've got him for another year or so, but we may need to look into the future because what we have, we will not have for very long. Defensive side, Aaron Donald is basically the entire defense. This defense is just, it's rough. Donald is 33 years old in the final year of his contract. Jonah Williams, also a restricted free agent. Bobby Brown in the final year of his contract. So, Bobby Brown here kind of had a little bit of a breakout. Again, I don't know that that's sustainable. Outside of Aaron Donald, there's just nothing. And off the edge, we got Byron Young, who's not great. We've got Michael Hawkt, who's not very good, and just nobody behind him. Laurel Murchison is a free agent. There's just nothing. So there's no talent, and there's no depth off the edge. Linebacker, we got Troy Reeder, who's a free agent. We've got Ernest Jones, who, again, had a decent year, but I don't know how much I believe in it. And he's also in the final year of his deal. Roseboom's a free agent. Jake Hummel, he is a free agent, or in the final year of his deal, restricted free agent next year, but whatever. There's not a lot of talent. There's not a lot there. Even if you believe in Ernest Jones, who else do you have at linebacker? Nobody is the answer. At cornerback, Mikello Witherspoon, currently a free agent. Durant is not very good. Duke Shelley's a free agent. And we got Darian Kendrick and Trey Tomlinson outside of that. Safety, Jordan Fuller, free agent. John Johnson, free agent. So even if we sign both of them, which is going to be tricky, Fuller is just mediocre. You can see he ranked 48th out of 95 safeties. John Johnson is even less good, and he's a 29-year-old free agent. Outside of that, we got Jason Taylor, Russ Yeast, and Quentin Lake. So we need a lot of stuff, especially on defense. By the way, Brett Maher, our kicker, is a free agent. So that's something to keep in mind as well. I think defense certainly needs to be the focus outside of offensive line. But why don't we get into the mock draft anyways? At pick 19, Tyler Guyton is going to be our guy. He is a tackle. He's played left tackle and right tackle, primarily right tackle. You can see he's more of a pass blocker than a run blocker, but 6'7", 327 pounds. The guy's a beast. Presumably he'll come in and replace Havenstein when the time comes. Maybe in the meantime we can put him over here. Maybe try him inside, but I don't really think so. At pick 36, Kamari Lassiter, guy that kind of tore up the combine a little bit, 6 foot 180, 21 pounds, 87 coverage grade. He's been good for 3 years, but he really blew up this past year, 85 overall, 48.7 passer rating when targeted. So, I don't need to mention that this is obviously a need. We already went through it. everything is pretty much a need, but definitely need a guy like Kamari Lassiter. Followed by Kalen King. We're going to go runner at cornerback, 21 years old, 5'11", 191. Definitely want to check out his 2022 tape if you want to watch him, because 2023 was a little bit of a letdown, but this is where his peak is. 48.9 passer rating when targeted in 2022. At pick 152, Jordan Jefferson, interior defensive line, 6'4", 317 pounds, clearly more of a run defender than a pass rusher, but we're going to need that. Not as young as the other guys that we've looked at, 4 years at West Virginia, 1 year at LSU. Graded out fairly well. Again, mostly run defense. The pass rush is pretty putrid. The 3 sacks even are basically fake because nobody gets 3 out of 7. That's a very rare occurrence. As you can see, he had 3 on 13. He won the year before. But 7 pressures on 203 attempts is just putrid. I mean, that's awful. That's, 4%? So he's a pure run defender, that's for sure. So ideally, we get a little bit of pass rush on the inside. At 153, we got Sam Hartman, 6'1", 212-pound quarterback out of Notre Dame. Graded out extremely well. Played 5 years at Wake before going to Notre Dame. Still put up some decent numbers. His best year at Wake Forest, 4,231 yards, 39 touchdowns, although 14 interceptions is not super great. At Notre Dame, about 2,700 yards, 8.8 yards per attempt, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Clearly, this is going to be a guy we're going to be developing behind Matthew Stafford for a year, 2 years, however long, and hopefully he can take over when the time comes. At pick 176, Sion Vaki, safety out of Utah. Another guy that you want to check out his 2022 tape if you want to go back and watch him. He had a little bit of a step backwards this past year at Utah. But again, we need some bodies over at safety. Even if we bring both of these guys back, we need some depth and we need some options for the future. And if not, then we need a guy that can play today. So hopefully Sion Vaki is going to be available for that. At pick number 190, Drake Nugent, center out of Michigan, very popular. I think he's been in the last couple mocks that we've done. But as you can see, he's been pretty solid the last 3 years, including the 2 at Stanford and 1 at Michigan. He's played almost exclusively center, played a little bit of left guard at Stanford. But again, this isn't even our center. Our center is a guy by the name of Mike McAllister. We don't have a center. We just brought in Mike McAllister as kind of a fill-in. Really, our only interior guy right now is Steve Avila. So big need to get this all figured out. And Drake Nugent's going to come in, probably going to play immediately. At pick 211, Jalix Hunt, edge rusher out of Houston Christian. Normally, I would say that this guy might need a little bit of time to sit, but he's not going to be sitting. We need bodies that are going to come in immediately. 6'4", 248, 83 PFF grade, 64 run defense, 80 tackling, 90.2 pass rush grade, 37 pressures, 229 attempts, and 8 sacks. So he's going to want to come in and play. I mean, he's going to be a part of the rotation. I'm not saying he's going to be the starter, but we need him immediately. At pick 216, Brevin Spann-Ford, tight end. That's another thing. The tight end situation is a little bit iffy. I think I forgot to mention that. Higbee is not quite what you want. Bryson Hopkins is a free agent. Hunter Long's in the final year of his deal, leaving Davis Allen is our only tight end option. So we'll see what Mr. Brevin Spann-Ford has for us. At tight end, as you can see, the grades this past year were terrible, but again, go back to 2022. So this was a rough year, but this year in particular, 2022, 497 yards, 11.8 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 90 PFF grade, 82 receiving grade. Even the pass blocking and whatnot was better. Not sure exactly what happened this past year, but this is where the potential is. The other issue, 24 years old, but that's why he makes it as far as he does down the draft. Finally, one pick later at 217, we've got Ovi Ogofu, 6'4", 250-pound edge rusher out of LSU. So another body in there in the rotation, 2 years at Notre Dame, 2 years at Texas, and then his 1 year at LSU. Another guy that looks to be more of a run defender at 250. I don't know if that's going to hold up in the NFL. We're going to need some better pass rush out of him. Nearly 10%, but not quite. Only 2 sacks. Not very productive as a pass rusher. So we'll see. I don't know if we bulk him up and just keep him as a run defender or what the plan is here. But we need guys on that D line, and this is where we felt we needed to go. So we'll take another look at the final overall draft picks for the LA Rams. If nothing else, I think it was a good swing at positions of need. I don't think there was anything that seemed incredibly hard to believe in terms of where these guys are going to go. Tyler Guyton, if anything, went a little earlier than you would expect at 19. But you can't get everything you want in the draft. There's just not enough picks, especially for some of these teams. But anyways, best of luck to Jose, and